What's up, homies? Welcome back, and if it's your first time, welcome to the community. In this video, I'm going to review Foregone, an action platformer looter developed and published by Big Blue Bubble. This is a review copy provided to me, but I always look at the value versus time and fun, as is the amount of fun and time that I had with this game worth the cost? Would this be a satisfying purchase? The title was originally released in early access on the Epic Game Store back in February. Its actual release on multiple platforms was October 13th. In the game, you'll play as the Arbiter, a super soldier created to fight for the city of Caligan. In Foregone, she's trying to stop the city from being destroyed by the Harrow. It's unknown what the Harrow is until you reach later stages of the game, and it's pretty interesting to say the least. In my first impressions, I said the story was but as I continued through the stages, you come across journals with lore text that give more context to the world and why you're doing what you're doing. While it helped me understand the why, it felt like it wasn't enough, and now that I think about it and put it all together, it didn't really make sense. And that's because of the limited amount of enemy types and the 3 NPCs that are in the game. You'll find yourself seeing the same enemy types with about 3 or 4 variations, and while it hinders the story, it doesn't hurt the gameplay. And that's because the enemies are just trash in between boss battles. They're to drop the resources you need to succeed. The way the levels are designed and how the enemies are placed all make for a nice, tight, and fast-paced gameplay where you actually just enjoy the act of killing the enemies, getting loot, gold, and skill balls. I don't know what their actual name is, let's call them skill balls. There are also secret locations hiding items in the level. As you progress through the game, you learn more skills to help you reach those levels, but they are completely optional to find. Arbiter uses both ranged weapons and melee weapons in a pretty unique way. The ranged weapons auto-aims at targets, which is cool and also limiting, and each hit with the melee weapon gives the ranged weapon ammo. You also get 2 rechargeable skill slots, and those are charged by using melee ranged, so you are always able to do something. The weapons have a ranking system from common to legendary, with red being legendary and gray being common, and each weapon you pick up will have different stats attached, so no 2 weapons should be the same. The skill trees are plenty, where even your skills have skill tree, but it's made so your choices aren't permanent. It's really set up to allow you to play how you want, and I like that. Fortunately, there isn't a huge weapon variety in the game. There are 5 melee and 4 ranged weapons, and they aren't really crazy. When I came across the coolest weapon in the game, the gunchucks, I was excited to see what other wild weaponry I would come across, but there wasn't any. Hopefully the devs add some more variety to the game. There is also armor that can be found that increase stats, and a cool touch that was added is that the higher tier gear actually changes in appearance on your character. With the main character being pixel art, I appreciate the hard work put into the design, animation, and movement. The controls are really the shining part of Foregone. I played the game with the controller and felt that the game was extremely responsive. There are a few animation locks in some of the melee combos. They aren't very long, and once you learn how a weapon works, you'll be able to react very freely, going from a ground attack to jumping in the air, changing direction, shooting behind you as fast as you can think about it. The bosses are all pretty unique from each other, but there are some mechanics that you'll be familiar with if you're familiar with the platforming genre. The last boss had an interesting mechanic that actually took me a minute to figure out. It reminded me of a raid boss mechanic from an MMO, but once you find out how it works, he isn't too difficult. Once you complete the game, you have a choice to make, which gives you an ending from there. The game is done, and the only way to replay, choose the other ending, is to go into New Game Plus, or just start a brand new game. The New Game Plus is really the way to go. The music is very chill yet familiar. I feel like I've heard one of the songs before, but I just can't place it. I do like it though. The game also has some voice acting. The main character's voice is also familiar. The lines are delivered well, but for the final boss, I felt they were a bit too villainy. They were trying to sound like a bad guy, and the recording quality was definitely different than the main characters. I actually didn't run across any bugs while playing it, and I've put about 11 or 12 hours into it so far. I'm going through my second playthrough right now on New Game Plus. The first took about 9 hours for me to complete. If I was to give the game a score, I'd give it like a 3.7. Like I said earlier, I had a lot of fun playing the game, but the variety of weapons that were available for it to be a looter type of game wasn't enough to get me super excited for the loot. And once you find the skills you like using, there is no reason to switch out your skills. But everything else I liked. and I think it's really worth the cost of the game. So I think it's like $24, $25, or $30, and I'm still playing it right now. Going to go through on the second playthrough, so photo's pretty good. If you guys have played Foregone, let me know what you think in the comments. Stay tuned for more news and reviews on this channel, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Peace.